So, if you missed it, it's I think trending right now on Twitter. Cenk came out with this. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the endorsements of Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, Nina Turner, and local progressive groups that gave me support. Their stance took real courage in the face of the corporate media and Democratic establishment onslaught. I want to be free of any influence other than the voters of California's 25th district. I will not be beholden to corporations, lobbyists, or special interest groups, and I will not stand by while those groups attack my political allies. That's why I've decided that I will not be accepting any endorsements. My job is to represent the voters and the voters alone. The only endorsements I'll be accepting going forward is that of the voters of California's 25th district. So that was Cenk. I say this not as for any other reason than just I have a brain. This is not because of any ill will I have towards him, but I mean, if you believe that Cenk on his own volition just asked the most progressive politician in America, the most popular politician in America, to not endorse him, I've got a golden bridge to sell you. Obviously, if you don't know, there was a lot of criticism of Cenk. He decided to run for Congress, so it's different if you're hosting a show. You can get criticism, but it's your show, whatever. But if you're running for Congress, everything is open season and fair game. And I'm not going to relitigate it, but when he was younger, I believe 30 or close to 30, Cenk made comments in old blog posts that were severely demeaning of women. So obviously, running for Congress, it's going to come back to bite you. I mean, you don't have to be a political expert who's facing him to dredge that up in commercials, feeding it to the media. That's what's going to happen. So, I assume Cenk knew that entering the race that this was going to happen. And I think it's fair game. These are not comments. I'm not going to rehash them, but you could find them online. They weren't comments he made as like a teenager. He was an adult when he made these comments about women. So it is fair game. Whether you're progressive, whether you're conservative, you have to answer for those comments. In recent days, he claimed he was at a period in his life where he was doing a Republican shtick and whatever, he learned better. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true that, he disavows the comments and he was a different person. I can't get in his mind. So I don't, I'm not here to psychoanalyze him. I have my feelings towards him that I'm not going to get into. But I think that politically speaking, I got to be honest with you, I don't think Bernie Sanders should have endorsed him in the first place. I mean, yeah, there's something to be said for standing with your convictions and saying to hell with it. That other campaign, the media was doing pieces on Cenk and his comments about women in the past. Obviously, his political opponents were going after him. But the bottom line is, whether Cenk made these comments in the last year or 5 years or 20 years ago, I mean, Bernie's campaign, and Bernie, you're running for president. You're running, and there has been propaganda out there against you from MSNBC, particularly that you're anti-woman, or the Bernie Bros, this kind of thing. And I don't think it was that smart. Even if Bernie, and I remember when I worked there, Bernie has a soft spot for Cenk, and I know that they had a good relationship. And I'm not criticizing Bernie. Obviously, the Young Turks gave Bernie a huge platform in 2016 when he was getting blacked out by the media. So I'm not criticizing Bernie for the sentiment of wanting to, I guess, pay the favor back or be loyal. But at the end of the day, you can't be running for president on this message of lifting up everybody. And Bernie this time around has done a really good job with hiring a diverse coalition. First Muslim running a presidential campaign, Fez Shakir as his campaign manager, as a very, very diverse staff. But if you're going to endorse someone who, as an adult, it goes beyond crude. comments about women. Maybe he's atoned for it. Maybe he doesn't mean it anymore. Maybe he's being genuine, but it is what it is. The comments were made. There are also comments that the media has dredged up that he has made over the last decade on the Young Turks that are not so good. So I'm not the PC police. And even though, take Cenk out of it for a second and just put anyone else in, if you're running for office and you've made really, really disgusting comments about women, whether it was a shtick, whatever it was, I would have not attached myself to that person if I was Bernie's campaign.
Turks founder Cenk Uygur. Why? Did Cenk do something in between when you endorsed him and now? No. It's the same old stuff. It's the same old stuff. Here's where Bernie tweets it out. He says, Cenk Uygur has been a long-time fighter against corruption. However, my name's Bernie Sanders, and I don't stand up for anybody who stands up for me. He says, however, our movement is bigger than any one person. I hear my supporters who were frustrated and understand their concerns. Cenk today said he is rejecting all endorsements for his campaign, and I retract my endorsement. But here's the story from the Uygur said on Friday that he appreciates the support from Sanders, Ro Khanna, and Nina Turner. So those are Sanders' two co-chairs. They all endorsed him, but will not be accepting any endorsements in his House campaign. Besides Sanders, Uygur has also won. There it is. Ro Khanna, blah 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 blah. Obviously, so this is the stuff. So it's the same stuff. So it's the same. So this is why, it's this. You know how they did to Tulsi? They just repeat the same smear over and over, no matter how many times it's been explained. Yes, Tulsi met with Assad. She also met with his opposition. This is called diplomacy. She's on the Armed Services Committee. So no matter how many times you explain that, Steve Schmidt and everybody on MSNBC is going to stand there and say she's an Assad toady right in front of Michael Moore, who won't say a word. In fact, he'll join in. And now they're doing it to Cenk Uygur and Bernie Sanders. And Bernie won't even stand up for Cenk. That's how it looks to me. And that's not Bernie, it's his campaign or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to blame Bernie for it. But it's his campaign. And so either it was a mistake to endorse Cenk in the first place, or it's a mistake to knuckle under right now to the same old smear tactics. It's a mistake one way or the other. And it's just sad. If you're going to make a mistake, I'd rather have him make a mistake being bold. Not the same old knuckle under. So this is what they're upset about. This is stuff that Cenk Uygur wrote, I think, 19 years ago on a blog when he was trying to be Howard Stern. He said, obviously the genes of women are flawed. They are poorly designed creatures who do not want to have sex nearly as often as needed for the human race to get along peacefully and fruitfully. So that's as a guy who can't get laid, and he's trying to write funnily about it. What he's really saying there is, I'm a nerd and I can't attract women. That's what he's saying. He's saying, obviously it's not me. So I don't know. I've explained this a million times. I don't feel like doing it again. So anyway, Uygur another post outlining the rules of dating, including that there must be orgasm by the 5th date. So he said that. So his response was, first of all, I wrote that stuff 19 years ago. I deleted it 15 years ago. Uygur said, I deleted it not because I thought I'd get caught or someone would find it. I deleted it because I didn't believe in it anymore. Cenk used to be a right-wing meathead. This is not me. I was trying to be a stupid, politically incorrect Republican. So I wrote those things. I knew were offensive. Uygur also defended himself this week from remarks he made in a 2013 episode of his show, in which he ranked women on a scale from 1 to 10 based on how likely men would be to perform oral sex on them, among other things. Uygur told the Los Angeles Times that he should not be criticized for having frank conversations about sex. I agree, But of course, they're going to take everything out of context, and they're going to, and in the hashtag Me Too era, that you know, a guy like Cenk Uygur, who prided himself on speaking frankly about everything, and was doing a podcast that was half political and half pop culture, that you can take anything he says out. He talks for 2-3 hours a day, on air. You can take anything he said out of context, and that's what's happening. But the bigger point is the Sanders campaign, again, making tactical errors. This is an unforced error. And if you can't stand, again, I don't, it's just, if Cenk Uygur is too toxic for the progressive, you guys are, you know, what are you doing? Who does this appeal? I don't get it. Anyway, there you go. And now Cenk knows what it's like to be smeared repeatedly in a political campaign over garbage. So now he knows how Tulsi feels.